Mr. Putin and Mr. Trump may meet. And this war, let's begin with this very clear statement. This war could be stopped. And Trump now, I think, has all the ammunition necessary to stop this war. And Putin's aggression could be halted and peace restored. The price might well be regime change, but so be it. Putin has played his hand badly, and whether alive or dead, it's time for him to bow out and order to be restored. The problem is that Donald Trump is as much a lover of chaos as is President Putin, or as was President Putin. It doesn't really make too much difference. Frankly, I don't care whether Putin's alive or dead. I look upon Putin's death as a bit of a joke, but it doesn't matter because the concept of Putinism, the idea of Putin, is what matters, not the physical manifestation, which of course can be reproduced in doppelgangers or with drugs just sort of boosting him forward, and or indeed AI. But next week may mark a turning point in the Ukraine war. Donald Trump, now deep into his second presidency, is preparing to meet Vladimir Putin one-on-one, followed by a trilateral encounter with Ukraine's President Zelenskyy. And these meetings, unprecedented since the war began, could bring about a ceasefire, or they could fail spectacularly. Either way, Trump is gambling big, but he is really the only person in the game in the position to bring about peace. Over 3 years of brutal war, 500,000 people killed or maimed, millions displaced, entire Ukrainian cities leveled by the aggressor, and Trump claims he can end it. Zelenskyy, perhaps war-weary, has cautioned has cautiously welcomed this initiative, and Putin, under heavy sanctions and domestic pressure, has sent signals of willingness or weakness. Trump has two major levers. His secondary sanctions already hitting India with a 50% tariff for buying Russian oil. China and others may be next. And asset seizure, the US holds billions in frozen Russian assets. Trump could authorize their transfer to Ukraine's reconstruction and defense without spending a dollar of US taxpayer money. And the economy is failing. So the question is whether Putin might blink first. Oil prices are falling, revenue is down, sanctions are biting. Young Russians are being conscripted or fleeing. Elite power struggles are deepening. One day butter is available, the next day it's not. And even allies like India are being pressured. China is wary, Iran is under fire. The Kremlin's network of enablers is shrinking. Putin has failed. And whether he remains in office, lives, dies, or retires to a palace complex in Valdai or whatever, is now secondary. He is no longer a viable wartime or peacetime leader. If peace is to be restored, the price may be his departure, even if unofficial, even if disguised. And Trump knows this, and his sanctions, tariffs, and threats target the heart of Putin's system, money and power. And Zelenskyy has always said he would negotiate if it's in good faith. He fears being tricked, as many Ukrainians were in 2014 with the Minsk agreements. But a 30-day ceasefire under US supervision and backed by sanctions could offer Ukraine breathing space, rearmament, and diplomatic capital. He's nothing to lose and everything to gain by appearing reasonable. But we should not be naive. Trump's motives may include personal prestige, the re-election calculus, or a desire to outshine NATO. Putin may stall or use talks to reposition troops and regain the narrative, and Zelenskyy may be sidelined or forced into terms that embolden aggressors worldwide. But this might work. Despite everything, it might work. Trump has leverage no other Western leader has dared to use. He's unpredictable, he's transactional, he's unburdened by multilateral diplomacy. And Putin may trust Trump to let him retreat with face-saving ambiguity. The war has become untenable, economically, militarily, morally. And the likely outcome, I think, is a temporary ceasefire, not full peace, and security guarantees for Ukraine, perhaps through US-backed arms or NATO light defense arrangements. Russia will exit the Donbass, but may cling on to Crimea at least for now. Putin's political exit begins quietly with an internal reshuffle or a medical excuse. And Trump may not bring peace to Europe, but he may bring a pause. And in this horrific grinding conflict, a pause is some modest progress. For Ukraine, it may be a moment to regroup, for Russia, a moment of reckoning, and for the world, perhaps, finally the beginning of an end. Let Putin bow out. Let order be restored, and let Ukraine at last begin to rebuild.